Today I am at a pub. This is the Harrow Inn in wonderful village of Steep, and I'm not alone either. I'm with the one and only Mr. Tweedy.
Hello.
I'll put various channels of his down below here. Today we are going to be heading up into the hills, hopefully to see the Hillfort at Great Winchester Hill. So we have our first view of the Hillfort across there. Very nice place to get to, nice roads and a good car park as well. Quite a big car park, lots of space today, although it is a weekday. So we've got to kind of walk around this path here and then go around the back of those trees to the Hillfort itself over there. That's to show where we are. In the distance there, when the area on top is Butser Hill. It's either the highest or the second highest part of the South Downs, I'm not sure. But we're looking east here, out towards Meon. But let's go down the South Downs way, and I noticed, we noticed this lovely yew tree here. In fact, what looks to be a woodland full of them. Isn't that wonderful?
Do you want a fun fact about yew trees that I always say when they come up on camera? Every single part of the yew tree, apart from the berries, but including the seeds of the berries, is really quite severely toxic. I think deadly poisonous. I don't think that's overstating it, is it? So you can eat the berries of yew trees,
okay,
but you're really recommended not to, because if you accidentally swallow the seed, you're swallowing something really quite seriously toxic. It's not a good idea. Actually
put me off camping in here somewhat, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, the needles, the bark, every part of it really quite toxic. Wow. Apart from the berries.
Apart from the berries. We've just come down the South Downs way here, and we're at this kind of junction here where we've got the Hillfort in there. We're going to head up here first and descend into the valley and get some drone shots. Thank you, sir.
21 was here for a gate transition. So
yes.
Some better at these than I am.
Well, at least WC21 could be here to actually open the gates for us as a kind of a servant, as it was. We're now just coming around past the Hillfort here. And this is, I believe, still the South Downs way. And we're going to be treated to some views in a minute. As we come along here, you can see the vague sort of silvery strip there is the Solent, and all the land above that is the Isle of Wight. What a fantastic view. And again, the Hillfort is to our right here. So we're now at the bottom of the Hillfort on the western side. It's a bit of a, I wouldn't say it's a dicey descent. In the wet, that would have been a little bit slippery, but there's kind of a field system here, and then we've got the track going up to the western entrance of the Hillfort there. Like every other Hillfort around here, it appears to have a main eastern entrance and a small western entrance. Answers on a postcard, unless you know any different.
Yeah, the western entrance, I think, is the one that's mentioned in the Anglo-Saxon charters.
Wow.
Perhaps we can
well, have a look.
When we get up the top.
I will bring you back at the western entrance of the Hillfort then. So we're just reconnecting. Well, actually we were on the South Downs way, so we've never left the South Downs way since the car park. But here we're going to deviate. The South Downs way heads down that way, and we're going to Winchester, yes, and then we are going up the Hillfort here. And funnily enough, Tweedy was saying about this sort of obscurity around the naming of the Hillfort, because we are a good 11 miles from Winchester, and in fact the closest Hillfort to Winchester, I believe, is St Catherine's Hill. So maybe this name sort of gravitated by accident towards being called Old Winchester Hill. So we've got the usual ash dieback notices, and here's the map. So we've been down here down around here, and we're now here climbing up to the Hillfort. Tweedy has just clarified that it was the eastern entrance in the Saxon Charters. What did you say?
Like 940 AD.
940 AD. A bit like every other hill fort, it does seem to be the eastern entrance is the prominent one. So if anyone's got any interesting information on why that could be, put it below. So we are now on top of the hill, assuming you can hear me. I haven't got my hat on today, so my hair's all over the place. One of those things there, showing us where everything is. So we have some, what looks to be, I wouldn't say it's collapsed, but maybe a pillaged round barrow here to the west, and then to the east we have another round barrow, and of course the trig point in the middle. So, not too hard up here. If you come up from that side, there's virtually no climbing whatsoever, unlike the way we've come. But yes, we have, I think Tweedy's found the inverted barrow that he's looking for. You can see him down there in his natural habitat. So it's definitely worth a walk up here. The views are fantastic. Let me do a slightly jerky 360. So on the horizon there we've got Beacon Hill and Side Down Hill. That's on Hampshire, Berkshire way. And then that's Winchester to the west. We've got the Solent, you can see the refinery at Forley. Isle of Wight, you can see God's Hill. And then over to the east here and across that way to the southeast, you've got effectively the rest of the South Downs National Park. Absolutely wonderful. So this is barrow number 3, or what's left of it. And then here, the one that's had Tweedy the most excited, and maybe he's the same with belly buttons, I don't know, but this one is inverted. And here we have, I really shouldn't be running at my age, kind of an inverted barrow here. Nice trip over, going very badly today. But yes, not quite sure what this is about. It is, I believe, classed as a barrow, but actually quite good for sheltering from the wind. This is actually a pond barrow. Not, again, entirely sure of its purpose, but yeah, it's definitely different from the others. Probably see it from the aerial footage a little bit. We are now just descending to the rampart. Univalate Hillfort, only one rampart and one ditch. One bank and one ditch. But when you look at these views out to the west, it's something to behold. And this is where I sat autumn last year and slept for an hour up here. Like some rural vagrant, but with the best view you can get. There's no point in having a Tweedy with you unless you use them. So we were just talking about this Hillfort, weren't we? About the fact that it seems to be implied in the Saxon Charters, or at least mentioned, and not named as Winchester Hill, Old Winchester Hill in any way. Yeah,
so 940 AD. If you have watched Allotment Fox's channel, for example, he spends a lot of time looking at Saxon Charters, and they just describe a boundary of some properties, actually, don't they? And it's a series of waypoints in the landscape. And for this one, it doesn't actually refer to it as Old Winchester Hill or anything similar to that. It just refers to it as the east gate of the fort.
Okay.
So there is a reference that is, if you line up that comparing to the previous point, mention the charter and the next point, in the charter, then it probably is a location around about here.
Yes, and we got the East Cape, which is where we're approaching now, which you saw earlier and you're recognising it. We're just doing a lap of the Hillfort at the moment, and I'm enjoying the view. I'm enjoying
So all that really tells us is that at that point in history, the fort was here, but I think we're fairly confident it's Iron Age, so we know it would have been here for much longer. And it's not until the 16th century that I found any written references to this hill fort as Old Winchester Hill. And it comes from Camden, Britannia, your friend Paul Whiteman's ancestor.
Never heard of it.
Paul's got better hair, of course, but they do have a striking similarity. We could probably put the two on screen to compare. It's not the first time this has been the two have been compared. And he doesn't really say much about it. He just, again, really mentions that it's here. It's a very sort of clear fit on the location, because he talks about nearby parishes of East Meon and so on in the same context. It's an interesting bit of text, because perhaps I can send you the image, you can put it on screen, because it's written in Latin. The original version of Camden's Britannia in the 1580s was written mostly in Latin, but every now and again he had to use actual English words, and he switches from a Latin font to a sort of Oldie English font. And we're used to seeing Latin font for modern things, and Oldie English font for old things. And the fact that he's writing in Latin using Latin font and Oldie English font for modern names, essentially more modern, it's kind of quirky. But that's the first reference, 1580s. I found to Old Winchester Hill. Roughly around that time, there is a map of 1575 of Hampshire. Is it by Stackton? I forget the name of the author of the map. And that actually labels it not as Old Winchester Hill, but as Old Windsor Hill.
Oh, okay.
I've struggled to read the writing there. It's got one of those long S's in it in the middle, but I think it's Old Windsor Hill, which is interesting. I spoke to Tom from Allotment Fox about this, and he said that both Wendover Hill and Windsor Hill are quite common names. Windover and or Wendover, you might be familiar with the Wendover in the Chilterns. It just generally means a steep banked hill, or the over bit, or the bit. The Wyn part possibly just refers to a local landowner, a local notable figure, Mr. Wyn, who stood his steep banked hill. So I think Camden may even himself have been responsible for drawing this parallel with Winchester City. We are a good 11 miles away, and it's likely there are these old legends about the original builders of Winchester put their houses here, and then fairies and or the devil relocated them to where the current location is of Winchester. But there's no real substantial evidence linking this with the city of...
No, it's not like old Salisbury, like that. It's different.
Good recorded evidence of Sarum being the predecessor of Salisbury. And I suspect, as we were saying earlier, I think possibly people have just transplanted that history to here, and given that Salisbury had this precursor that was something like a hill fort, they thought, well, Winchester obviously needs one of those as well.
Yes.
But this is just not close enough to be in any way sensible. It's 11 miles away.
Yes. So you already said you've got St Catherine's Hill there, or as maybe New Winchester. You never know.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No, well.
I think here actually we have the Pond Barrow, the eastern end of the Hillfort. Isn't that wonderful? Look at that. Probably doesn't come out and film, but just to the extreme right of the Isle of Wight, I think I can see the Needles just to the left of Fawley Refinery there. Lovely view around the southern side of this hill fort. So here we have a diagram of how the hill fort looked. I won't bore you with the text, you can pause it in a sec when I zoom out, but there we have the main barrows and huts in the middle. Thinking that number 2, so that is the pond barrow in the middle there. So this one we saw here was a dew pond. And if you want to pause the video, there's the text. So, cheating a little bit, but I have used Gemini here, and save you the bother, I guess. So a little quirky thing. So the most obscure fact, I think, about this place was that during World War II, this Hillfort was converted into a simulated minefield for testing and training. So while the hill was an Iron Age fort around 2,500 years ago, British military used it in the 1940s to test different types of landmines. And clearance techniques as well. So large sections of the hill remained fenced off decades after the war, and it wasn't until the early 2020s that some areas were declared safe and it was completely opened to the public. So we've done a circuit of the Hillfort again now, and we just found this little path down the side here that sort of squirms its way along the side of the hill. It looks a bit like Ivanhoe Beacon, I think, but we are going to be having a look down there and seeing what there is. Talking about the use of hiking poles, and if I was carrying a rucksack heavier than this, I'd probably want at least one along here. On my other channel, Headley Thorn, that's what it's called, I do wild camping up in the mountains, and you'll see me there with a sort of a 16-kilogram rucksack and hiking poles and proper outdoor gear and everything. But it's not usually those places where you have the problems. It's places like here when you're not equipped for steep slopes and bad weather. We have the view back to the Hillfort there. That's the way we've come down here. Over to the west you've got Mearn Gate, so the river will be down there, probably a good couple of miles away, and then this links up with the woodlands back to the car park. I would say for disabled access, if you have one of those kind of all-terrain style wheelchairs or something that can get over bumps, then I think the way in is possible, and you'll get to see some views as well. Obviously not the path we're on now, but it is possible if you've got a good enough kind of off-road style wheelchair. I think you should be okay. Well, thank you very much for joining us on Old Winchester Hill. It is a place I recommend. I've been here a couple of times, and yeah, thank you very much. Tweedy, if you see he's got a variety of channels, haven't you? Yes. I follow Tweedy Outdoors if you want to see him cooking and walking in the countryside.
Very occasionally camping.
Very occasionally camping. Tweedy Pubs is another big one of yours, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you want to see him getting half leathered for a worthy cause. Very, very good channels. And if you want to see camping on mountains in tents in rough weather, that'll be my channel over on Headley Thorn. In the meantime, on Hills and Hillforts, thank you so much for joining. Please do like and subscribe if you can be bothered. And
Buttons are down there.
buttons are down there, so it's free. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one. Before I sign off, just look at this cafe here. Cheers, Tweedy.